Hello friends, Patrick here. Today we are reviewing the Hero 7 Silver Edition. It's the one in between the white and the black, the silver. It's kind of like the second place, the middle brother, the middle child to the new Hero lineup of stuff from GoPro. And there's a few things I want to talk about, not just this device itself, but a previous device that I thought was actually mind-blowingly good. I thought it was really, really cool, and I thought they were moving away from this type of design. But then I'll talk about, obviously, potentially the benefits of having a design like this. So this is the Hero 7 Silver. It got 10 megapixel camera. It can do 4K at 30 frames, and obviously the black one can do 4K at 60. But also it's missing one little feature, which is video stabilization. So if you're running around with this, the stabilization isn't inbuilt, it's done via the actual software, and that can actually not be as good. The Hero Black is much better at this because it's a hardware-based stabilization, but you're gonna pay through the roof. This is around $350, while the Hero Black is about $500 to $550. If you get it for $500, it's a pretty good price. So why the jump, and is the jump actually worth it? Well, we'll try and summarize with that, but I want to talk about this. Now, I've had a GoPro before. I had the 4, also a silver edition. I really liked it. I did sell it off because I usually use it for a very short amount of time, potentially a ski trip, which is literally exactly the same thing I did 3 years ago, and then I kind of on-sell it because, to be honest, apart from that, I don't do extreme sports often. Nor really ever, and never is it extreme. I mean, snowboarding isn't particularly extreme, but I found that it's kind of, once it gets old, it gets old. But this is the one I think I'm going to keep. So let's start with this and what I used it for. So I went snowboarding, so I used it in the snow. The first thing you'll realize is that it does not come with waterproof casings anymore. It is waterproof by itself in this little rubbery shell around it. There is only a few buttons. It does have a touchscreen in the back, but we've got a record button. We've got a button here for modes and on and off, which is actually very frustrating, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And we've got the little plug here to get the USB-C that charges it and the actual micro SD that's in there. So let's talk about this button. When you turn it on, it's one press and it'll beep and it's on. And it'll go to the last thing that you did, or you can set it to always go to video. Now, if this is on your head, on a helmet, it's actually really hard to kind of even sometimes hear it, press it, or even know that it's on the right mode. So I kind of went by just clicks and noises. If I click it, it's one beep, I'm in the right thing, and I press the record, it'll beep again. If I press the record to stop the recording, it'll beep twice and let me know it's finished. It was very frustrating. A while ago, I actually had a little remote on my hand that you could press, but I found that the Apple Watch can actually work with it. But then GoPro decided to remove that app from the Apple Store for an unknown reason, and I was actually pretty disgruntled. I bought this knowing that I can control it with my Apple Watch, and that did not happen. The Apple Watch had a preview. You could press record, set the mode. Then I had to use my phone to do so, which kind of is frustrating when you've got gloves on and you're in the snow and you want to take out your phone, have a look, and then put it back in, press record. It also uses up your own battery. I had the pocket here, by the way, that's why I'm referring to it here. And it is very frustrating, to say the least, to use this. The buttons themselves aren't really clicky, and you can't tell if you've clicked it, especially through a glove. Taking it off obviously works wonders. There is no actual nice display that you'd have in the old ones. They used to have a little display here with numbers and it's recording. Now it has a little light that's actually hard to see, and when you put the cover on, it gets a little bit frustrating. This is the only accessory, not the handle, but this is the only mount you get with it. If this breaks, you gotta go buy another one, and putting it in is no trouble at all. Slip it in just like any other enclosure. The cool thing is, this new design, or this ability to be actually waterproof without a waterproof case, means you can use every single old other attachment for your GoPro. So what was I talking about the old design? Well, there is a sessions version of the GoPro camera. That one is a very small box, the size of this one here. I'll just pop a picture up here. No screen on the back, just press and go. And I really liked that. I thought that would be a great design without this bulky one. It's actually bulky, and at this stage, I don't think GoPro should be making bulky devices. They should be getting smaller and better. This feels like a pretty standard darn thing. Now I've seen use cases for like drones where you put a GoPro on it. I've seen it used in all sorts of things, cars, you know, boats, anything that you want to record on, bikes. Got a recording of a bike that I'll show you guys here. But I think it should be getting smaller and it should not have the screen anymore. There is no use. Nobody's gonna go through the footage and watch it or join their friends and be like, hey guys, have a look at this small screen. It's terrible to use. That touch screen is nice, but the whole thing's so small, my fingers are too fat to really use it. I mean, it could be my fault, but it's useless. So GoPro Sessions, I firmly believe, is actually the best design they've got. Sure, okay. Not all accessory could work with it, but if you're just mounting it, everything's got a mount and you can mount it to anything. It'll be smaller on your helmet, it still performs really well, and I'm sure if they take away the screen, they can make that Sessions a much better device. So I apologize for talking about the Session too much, but I'm comparing it to an older product that's actually around the same price as this one. It is sold out now, it's actually pretty hard to get, but Amazon had it for $200. It was well priced. It did 1080p at 60. This one does 4K at 30 frames. It does 1080p at 60. And there's a couple of things that really annoy me about it. First of all, at 4K and 30 frames, this eats through the battery. This is also the device that you can't add an external battery pack and you can't charge it on the go, and it has a terrible battery. GoPro should be ashamed. The battery on this, using 4K, horrible. Absolutely horrible. I switched to 1080p, and at 60, the battery was acceptable. It worked really well. But then another problem presents itself. The 4K sensor uses a very nice wide angle, and the 1080p, because it's doing double amount of frames, actually closes in and makes the view terrible. It's almost like a 4:3 view. Why? What is this crap? And then, to make matters even worse, that touchscreen menu. It's horrible. To turn on 4K, it's a little 4K icon. To turn on 1080p 60 frames, it's a snail. How stupid do your customers seem, GoPro? That your button to turn on slow-mo, or rather 1080p 60, where you can slow down the footage a little bit or bring it down to 30, there'll be more frames. You call it snail. You have an icon of a snail and you call it slow-mo. How stupid do you think we are? The menu is horrible. There's no point having it. The settings are atrociously dumbed down. This product is dumbed down from the versions that were before. There was so much more choice, there was so much more control, that was easily accessible but also easily understood. This just sounds like a child's toy, a snail. Before I bag it too much, there are a couple of things that make this GoPro quite awesome. One of them is the fact that it gets GPS location, not just from your phone, but also from the device itself, and can tell you all about the mountain. I'll show you a couple of screenshots of it grabbing me traveling around the mountain on Japan. What it can also do is actually grab the speed that you're going, and you can put a little overlay on top of a video in the actual software provided by GoPro, which is pretty darn cool. There is also a G sensor that can tell if you're going fast around a corner or pulling some G's, as they say. That, in fact, is also another overlay. Kind of misleading in the sense of what it does, and it's not that sensitive, but it seems to work, and it's limited to just showing on the video as a little overlay. There's also a little guide to show you what areas you've gone intensely in, so speed-wise, a little bar over a period of time, which is really good in trying to find out where you had those massive and awesome highlights, those jumps or maybe those fast points. It's a great way to capture it. Other than that, that overlay isn't necessarily useful. So while the footage that I got on the 4K 30 is actually quite nice, the colors, the white balance is okay. You have to do some editing to get it better. I'll try and show you two comparisons. All in all, it's an acceptable product, but I just don't feel like GoPro has done anything new, better, or even slightly more improved. I feel they've gone backwards with this product.
Apart from the fact that you literally cannot use it with your gloves and you don't have a screen to look at, and the only light telling you that it's recording is right there on the left, and it's barely visible. There's no way to have it on your helmet and actually check if it's recording, except the sounds. But if it's really loud and you're snowboarding and it's making lots of noise, you're never gonna hear the sounds. Battery, horrible. Recording at 4K, you get about 30 minutes. Recording at 1080p at 60, you might even get 2 hours.
Okay, let's summarize. Can I recommend this? Probably not. Not when this is potentially not the best GoPro they've made in the past. It's just the one that is available at the shops today. The Hero 5 Black Edition will probably have a lot of more pro features. I know it does. It has a few features that makes it a viable package. But the concerns I have is still with the design, which is the same with the black. It is also same with the way it's being used, and nobody uses the touchscreen. Really nobody, I don't think nobody does. I really sincerely believe. I had so many crashes using it. The icons are dumbed down. I felt a bit stupid, treated stupidly by the menu. The software is terrible. If you get a chance to get the Sessions 4 online, buy it. It'll probably be better than the white, that's for sure. Don't buy the white version. This one here is probably what you're gonna get if you're just casually using it. Very casual use. Maybe that's what it's marketed for, but maybe you can have two firmwares. Maybe update the firmwares to change things, or you want to choose the old classic way of choosing settings. Allow us, unlock it, crack it, jailbreak it, whatever it is. Make this usable, because this is a very powerful camera held back by software. So, finally, let's say this. If you want to get it and you're using casual things, it's a pretty good price, and it's better than the white. Too expensive for the black, but this will do fine for a family trip, snowboard, or even just casual trips. If you want something a little bit more versatile, get the Sessions 4. You'll get less 4K, but you'll actually get some usable footage, and it's really smaller, much easier to use. Friends, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has not turned you off so much, but it is a couple of my complaints that I found over the trip I had. Obviously, battery was terrible and you couldn't just charge it on the go. There's no battery packs to add, so we'll leave it at that. Let me know in the comments what you think about this version, the Silver, the 7. Have they taken a step backwards? Could there be things they could do better? Hope you enjoyed some of the footage, the quality of it. Obviously, like I mentioned, sometimes the person using the GoPro is bad, but the GoPro is pretty good at making some things look good and something look worse. So the images I captured is very amateurish, and I hope it gives you an idea of what you might get if you don't have much knowledge about these guys when you first jump in. And it's kind of hard being on the mountain trying to figure it out. I mean, I used it on the snow, I didn't use it anywhere else apart from the bike. The bike footage came out really nicely, but again, it could just be the user. Friends, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in another video.